guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well and you're watching my YouTube channel Advanced Technology by Rana. In the last session we did the configuration of dynamic routing on the Palo Alto, and for that purpose we use OSPF protocol, and we configure the OSPF on the Palo Alto, how to configure area, how to associate with the interfaces, and we use area 0 for this purpose. And then we configure the OSPF on my switches and router side. Okay, and then we created a full mesh topology to be reachable from the DMZ to distribution, and from distribution to the DMZ and to the internet. And we also learn how to make my servers reachable with the internet with the help of OSPF. Okay guys, and today we will do something further related to the OSPF. So let's start our lab for today. And please don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. My topology is same as my previous sessions. My placement of the devices is same, IP address is same, and I will continue from the OSPF which we done in the last session. Okay, so guys, today we will do the configuration of the OSPF for the authentication side. In the OSPF there is a very strong feature available for the authentication, and authentication make the communication secure between the two devices which are running the OSPF protocol. Okay, because OSPF is using very widely in your network and also on the internet with your ISP switches. So the communication must be secure, and there should not be any chance that any unauthorized device configure with the OSPF and it injected in your network and it start learning the routes, and your internal network become exposed to the external world. Okay, so for that purpose there is authentication mechanism introduced in the OSPF, and it make the communication secure. So let's start our lab for today. This is my router. My neighborship is already available. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, and I will check my other DMZ as well. Show IP OSPF neighbor. It is also available. And then I will check for my distribution. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, so my all neighborship is ready and available. Okay, so let's come to the Palo Alto firewall side. This is my Palo Alto. Here's my Palo Alto. Okay, let me show you the configuration of the OSPF here. This is my OSPF. Okay, I configure the area and I tell about my interfaces. This is the authentication profile, which is our focus for today, and here we will work. Okay, and something I want to show you here as well. More runtime stats. If you see over here, this is my OSPF. This is the default parameters. Okay, and this is my area, which is already configured. This is the interfaces, and the area ID is there. By default I use area 0. This is my router priority, which is by default 1. Guys, we will also focus on the router priority configuration and my backup DR and my DR designated router. What is designated router and what is BDR? So we will see how we will play with this one, and we will make my DR as a BDR and BDR as a DR. Okay, but we'll do this one in the last session of today video. Okay, and then there is a neighborship. This is the neighborship is already available with my DMZ internet and inside. And if you see, this is the area priority is by default 1, and this is all, I believe. So let's move with our configuration for the authentication. For the authentication configuration, we will come on the virtual router, and we'll go to the default route. Then we'll go to our OSPF, and in the OSPF, this is my authentication profile. Okay, so when I will open this option, I found authentication profile, and you will find here there are two types of authentication available in the OSPF. Okay, the first authentication is a plain text authentication. What happened in the plain text, I will just explain you with the help of the diagram here. This is my diagram. Okay, so when I will configure authentication, my Palo Alto will communicate with my other switch or other end device with some password. Okay, and this password should be same. It is exchanged from Palo Alto to this device, and then this device match the information of the password, okay, which is receiving from the Palo Alto, and if it match, then it start doing the communication. Okay, so if I use the simple password, the communication between Palo Alto and this device will be in a plain text. So there is no hashing, or there is no security between the communication. Okay, and this is also something not coming in the best practice, that if somebody hack your communication, he will know what is the password, and it will just give the same password for his device, and it will plug with your Palo Alto or your Palo Alto or to other end device, and it will get the configuration, and your internal communication is exposed to the external world. Okay, so this is not a best practice or recommended, but anyhow the option is available. So we will see. The second option is MD5. Okay, and in the MD5 we configure the key, and this key ID and the key is exchanged between the communication. Okay, so once the communication is initiated from the Palo Alto or from my other end device, it will match the key what once it receive from the other device, and it will match with its record. If the key ID is same and the key is same, then the communication going to be start, and the devices consider it as an secure communication, and they know that this is my own network device. Okay, so what is the MD5? Basically the MD5 authentication provides higher security than plain text authentication. Okay, and second, and especially this method uses the MD5 algorithm to compute some hash value from the content of the OSPF packet and the password. Okay, and then this hash value is transmitted from the Palo Alto to the other end. Okay, and along with the key ID and a non-decreasing sequence number. Okay, and the communication is secure, and it's only the way if the key and the key ID is same, then the communication happen. Okay, and basically it make a hashing algorithm. So what we'll do now, I will create three different authentication profile for my internet to my Palo Alto. I will use the MD5, and from Palo Alto to DMZ also I will also use MD5. Between Palo Alto and my distribution, I will use a plain text, and then we will see what is the difference of the configuration. Okay, so let me do a quickly configuration. IR MD5 for my internet, MD5. I'll make it key ID 1. This is test 123, test 123, and I configure it as a preferred. Okay, preferred mean it will forcefully, it will make sure that this parameter will move to the other end device. And make it okay. Make another one. DMZ MD5. Sorry. Key is 1, and this one I'll make it password. Password, and I make it complex. Okay. Let me correct it. Okay, so this is my password. What is my password? I'll show you here. This is my password. I'll make it @ okay, p@sswrd. Okay, so this is my password is done. Then I will add one more as a plain text. I'll make it internal plain, and this one I'll make it simple password like this one. Okay, password. So make it okay. Okay, until now this authentication is not yet applied because I did not commit the changes. So let me do the changes on the Palo Alto and Let me open my session here for the, this is my internet router, this is my DMZ. Okay, so let me make it commit and then we'll see what is the output come out. So once it reached to 99%, we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, let's discuss something more. If you see over here, this is the BDR backup designated router, and this is my neighbor router ID, which is my Palo Alto. I create a loopback address. Okay, so that's why it's showing here as a neighboring ID on all routers the same. So 99 is done. Let's wait for the final actions. Once it done, the timer for the OSPF is by default 10 seconds, and it will wait for 4 times. Okay, so almost 30 to 40 seconds it's wait, and if the 40 seconds it will reset, and then the communication is make sure that the other end is dead, alive, or the keys going to be exchanged. Okay, so let's see now. I believe the 40 seconds are done almost. Let me put here command, show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, until now I did not apply the configuration, guys, sorry. I just prepared my configuration. Okay, I'll go back here. So it's good to have the results that it's not showing me until we will do the configuration. I'll go here on the interface level and I will associate these profiles with my interfaces here. I'll go here 1/1, which is going to my internet. So my authentication profile was not yet bind with my interface. Okay, so that's why there was no result. So I'll select IR. Okay, then I'll go to 1/2, which is my this interface going to my DMZ. My default parameters all same. Hello interval is 10 seconds, dead counts it's 4, transmission interval after 5 seconds. Okay, so 5 second, every 5 seconds it will send, and then I will come over here, sorry, and I will configure as internal plane. Okay, so this is done, this is okay. Let me commit. Okay, great. Let's see now. You'll see the results now. So guys, we reached to 98%, and we'll see now 99. So guys, finally, as the dead timer reached to 40 seconds, okay, with the interval of 10 seconds every time and 4 times it wait, it declare the interface from full to down. Because when the keys are exchanged, it did not find the key on the other side, and it tried for 4 times, 10 seconds each, and after 40 seconds, it's declared it as a dead, that it's mean this is not the authorized hardware or the authorized device for the OSPF communication. Okay, so where is my topology? This is my topology. Okay, so I'll do one thing. Right now there is some communication is going on between my Palo Alto and my internet router, and also the DMZ and my distribution. So let's debug it and see what exactly communication is happening at the backside, and we will discuss about this one. Okay, the command is debug debug IP OSPF 1 ADJ. Okay, so let's see now what's communication is happening between these devices. I will do one more with the DMZ as well. Debug IP OSPF 1. Okay. So guys, the communication is started. This is the backend communication, which is not visible unless you will make the debug. okay, with the correct command. So what happening exactly here? This is my internet router. What it's saying, gigabit 0/1 receive packet from 192.168.100.1 mismatch authentication type. Okay, so it's clearly saying that 0/1 interface is sending with this IP with mismatch authentication, and that's why it declare it that. Okay, same thing happen on the DMZ side. What it's saying, the OSPF 1 adjacency gigabit 0/0 receive packet from 192.168.150.1. okay, on this interface, mismatch authentication. So this is the proof how the communication is happen. I will do one thing. I will configure the authentication now. Okay, so let's start from our internet. Let me disable the debug. So I will put my command and then I will re-enable the debugs. Okay, so show run interface gigabit 0/1. Okay, I will configure the MD5 authentication. I'll go to the interface, IP OSPF authentication message digest. This is the first command. The second command, IP OSPF message digest key. What is the key I configure on the Palo Alto 1? What is the hashing algorithm? MD5. And what was my password? This was my password. Okay, so as soon as I will configure it, it will immediately come up. Okay, debug IP OSPF 1 and see the debugs. Okay, so let's see and then we'll discuss it. Let me configure here as well on the DMZ side. Show run interface gigabit 1/2, sorry, 0/0. Okay, I'll configure it here. IP OSPF authentication message digest, IP OSPF message digest key 1 MD5. And what was this one? It was password. This was password. I put the wrong key on the internet router. Okay, so as you see, as soon as I put the correct password, it start communicating and my neighborship come up from loading to full. But here it is still down because I did not put the correct key. Show run interface gigabit 0/1. Let me correct it. Okay, it is not password. It is test 1 2 3. I'll make it test 1 2 3. Okay, now you will see. See guys. As soon as the keys exchange, it authenticate, immediately election process started. So let me undo the debugs and then we'll see further. You all. Okay, so let's look over here. What communication is happening? So as soon as I put the correct key in between the internet router, okay, it say send with youngest key 1, receive DBD packets from 10.10.10, which is my Palo Alto firewall with some sequence number, and MTU state initiated immediately, and at Genesis two-way communication 10.10.10, which is my Palo Alto state two-way neighbor change event, and election is started. Okay, so after the key exchange, immediately it started the communication and the neighborship is built. So this was my communication. Okay, so NBR negotiation is done. We are the master. Immediately it is announced that who is the master. We will see now. NBR is 10.10 summary list 1, send DBD, this one. So who is the master? We'll see with this command. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, so the master is my internet router. The reason how it become master, because the election process, first it look for the priority. If the priority is higher priority, more chances to become the master. Okay, but if the priority is same, right now my internet priority and my paloalto priority is same, then the higher uh, neighbor ID. Okay, so right now show IP interface brief. My loopback is 50.50, which is configured here, section OSPF. So my router ID is 50.50.50. So this become master, because higher router ID, it will become the DR, and the second will become as a BDR. So my paloalto firewall become BDR, backup designated router. Okay, so let's see what happened on the DMZ side. Let's see the debugs here. Okay, I think I did not configure the debugs. Okay, so I don't have any here, the election process here. So show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, this site, my paloalto firewall is a DR, designated router. The reason my router ID is show run section OSPF. Okay, so what is my router ID? 1.1.1, which is lower than my paloalto ID, which is 10.10.1. So this become as a DR, but on this side, my router become DR because the ID is higher than the paloalto, which is 10.10.1. Okay, so we have done this one. So the last which is left is now my distribution. Here we configure the plain text. So we'll see now how the plain text work. Okay, I will enable the debug IP OSPF 1 at Genesis. Okay, so I'll go over here, interface gigabit 0/0. The command is IP OSPF authentication. Simple. Second command, IP OSPF authentication key, which is password. This is my key. So let's see the communication happen now. The debugs. See guys, how faster it moves, and it become from finally loading to full. Let's see our logs and discuss on it. Okay, so I switch off my debugs. So what happened? As soon as I put this key, my two-way communication started. On this interface, neighbor event change, DR, BDR, election started, elected BDR, elected DR 10.10.10, which is my paloalto firewall, and my router, my switch ID is 2.2, which is lower. Okay, so it become as a BDR. Okay, and then remind old DR is 222. There are some logs. Okay, so in the end, finally, we have done it. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let's explore some more options. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, so here my all priority is 1, so DR all is DR. Okay, so this is the DR because my router ID is lower than all this one, which is 2.2.2. Okay, one thing more guys, I want to show you here, which is related with the recommended setting. Right now, if you see in the here with my internet router, show run interface gigabit 0/1. Okay, if you see over here, my message digest key is as a transparent, so it should be encrypted. To make it encrypt, I make it service password encryption. Okay, as soon as I will give this command, it will encrypt all the passwords in my router configuration with the machine language. Okay, show run interface gigabit 0/1. Okay, so my communication becomes secure right now. Same thing I will do with my other part as well. Show run interface gigabit 0/0. Okay, my password is transparent. I will put it here. Service password. Sorry. Service password encryption. Show run interface gigabit 0/0. Okay, so it is encrypted. Same thing I will do my DMZ. show run interface gigabit 0/0. So it become encrypted now. Okay, let's discuss some more options here, which should be in your knowledge. On my internet router, okay, if I want to see what is the hashing is configured, so there's a command show IP OSPF neighbor gigabit 0/1. Okay, if I see over here, it will show me this output with the neighbor ID, BDR, dead time, which is the address, and interface gigabit 0/1. There is one more command, show IP OSPF interface gigabit 0/1 detail. I think no detail part. Okay. If you see over here, this is the configuration of my interfaces, okay, which is mentioned with my BDR ID, and my router ID is also mentioned here. Priority is here, what is the state, and this is the interface. And the important thing which is need to be discussed, cryptographic authentication enable. Okay, so this is the proof. This is the confirmation that my MD5 authentication is configured on this interface with this naming information, cryptographic authentication enable. Okay, so here it's my MD5 and here is my plain text. So let's see what is available on the distribution side. So this is my distribution side, show IP OSPF interface gigabit 0/0. Okay, here, start from here, it will become as a router ID. My priority is 1, state is BDR. Okay, and DR router ID is 10.10.10, which is my paloalto firewall. And in the last, it is mentioned as simple password authentication enable. So this is the proof that here it is plain text. Okay, so it's simply clearly giving a message that this interface configured with simple password authentication enable. So this was the feature of the OSPF, which is really very good, excellent. Let's see on the DMZ side, show IP OSPF neighbor, show IP OSPF interface gigabit 0/0. Okay, cryptographic authentication enable. So this was the feature of the OSPF. This is the beauty. This is why the OSPF is mostly the most famous protocol, and it's widely acceptable, and people are very happy to configure this password. Let's do something more here finally, then we will close our lab for today. On the internet side, if you see over here, this is my internet router. Okay, show IP OSPF neighbor. My BDR is my paloalto firewall, because my priority is 1, and then it go on the selection of the neighboring ID. So what I will do now, I will change the priority of the paloalto firewall from 1 to something higher, and then we will see that this will become from BDR to DR. Okay, so for that one, I'll go to my paloalto firewall. I will go on this one. I'll go to the interface, which is 1/1. OSPF interface 1/1. Okay, this is my interface connected with my internet. I will make my priority higher. I'll make my priority 5. Okay, so it is higher now. So the higher priority will become the DR. Okay, okay. Let me commit. Let it finish. Another thing, on the router side, we give command clear IP OSPF process to reset my OSPF, to make it reinitiate my traffic. But on the paloalto firewall, basically there is no such command available, except I will show you here. During this time, this will become 100% as well. Okay, on this one, there are two options. Either you will go on the OSPF and you will uncheck this option. Okay, and then you make it okay, and then you make it commit, and then the communication will be reinitiated from the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, I will show you this one, but let it finish first. Yes, my task has done. Let me see the state is changed from BDR to DR or not. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, still it is BDR. Okay, so I will do one thing. I will priority is change. Okay, but state is not yet changed. So what I will do now? The second option is you'll go over here, admin. Either you will configure, reconfigure the OSPF in the Palo Alto, or you will give here command debug routing space restart. This is the command, restart. Okay, so this will restart the process from the Palo Alto firewall. I'll make it yes. Same thing I will do here. Clear IP OSPF process. Yes. Okay. Now we'll see it will become from BDR to DR, my neighboring ID. Let me check here. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay. The communication is started. Right now it is two-way. It will take around 40 seconds. Now it become as X state DR. This is the second state. Okay. Loading to down. Graceful restart helper terminated. This is the internal process is going on. So finally, the neighborship is come up. Let's see now. See guys, now it become as a DR. Okay, because my priority is higher. So higher priority, it will give preference to become as DR. So now the communication will be started from my Palo Alto side, because Palo Alto is the DR. Okay, but you see over here on the top, it is as a BDR. Here the communication is started from my router side, because it is the DR, and my Palo Alto is a backup designated router. Designated router. Okay, so guys, we have done our lab for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and inshallah see you soon with another video very soon. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and like this channel, and don't forget to give your feedback as well, inshallah. Until that time, see you, take care, and bye bye.